Color Guard Sergeant, post colors.
Color Guard, attention. Huh. Carry.
Please rise.
Colors. Well. Place, colors. Hit. Present. Forward.
Present arms. Assemble, march! Forward, march! Everyone, please remove your caps. Chaplain will offer prayer.
Most gracious Father of us all, from whom comes all help and blessings, on this solemn Sunday of remembrance, look upon us gathered here, and with thy favor direct us in all our actions. Grant to us vigilant hearts. Give us minds to know thee, diligence to seek thee, and wisdom to find thee. Sanctify us with thy presence. Bless us with thy might, and assist us to take counsel, that all our endeavors may begin with thee, and through thee may be happily ended. Amen.
Amen.
Everyone face the flag for the American Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May be seated. Sergeant at Arms, please place the POWMIA flag on the empty chair. Everyone recover? We'll now recite the Constitution preamble to the Constitution of the American Legion. For God and country, we associate ourselves together for the following purposes: to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America, to maintain law and order, to foster and perpetuate a 100% federalism, to preserve the memories and incidents of our associations in all wars, to inculcate a sense of individual obligation to the community, state, and nation, to combat the hypocrisy of the classes and the masses, to make right the master of might, to promote peace and goodwill on earth, to safeguard and transmit posterity principles of justice, freedom, and democracy, to consecrate and sanctify our comradeship, our devotion to God. I now declare Audie Emergency Post 336, Department of Texas, regularly convened. Roll call of officers. Post Commander Wood here. First Vice Charlotte Clayton. Excused. Second Vice Roy Mendez. Present. Adjutant Sierra Carter. Excused. Judge Advocate Walter Garrity. Here. Post Service Officer Robert Garrett. Post Finance Officer Robert Garrett is excused. Assistant Finance Officer Robert Jenkins. Present. Post Service Officer, excused. Chaplain, Marge Brown. Present. Historian, Rick Gutierrez. Sergeant at Arms, Ricardo Castro.
Here.
Immediate Task Commander, Francis Priestley.
Here.
I'd like to draw your attention to the POWMIA table. Those who have served and those currently serving in the uniformed services of the United States are ever mindful that the sweetness of enduring peace has always been tainted by the bitterness of personal sacrifice. We are compelled to never forget that while we enjoy our daily pleasures, there are others who have endured and may still be enduring the agonies of pain, deprivation, and imprisonment. Before we begin our activities, we pause to recognize our POWs and MIAs. Call attention to this small table, which occupies a place of dignity and honor. It is set for one, symbolizing the fact that members of our armed forces are missing from our ranks. They are referred to as POWs and MIAs. We call them comrades. They are unable to be with their loved ones and families, so we join to pay humble tribute to them and bear witness to their continued absence. The table is small, symbolizing the frailty of one prisoner, alone against his or her suppressors. The tablecloth is white, symbolic of the purity of their intentions to respond to their country's call to arms. A single rose in the vase signifies the blood they may have shed and sacrificed to ensure the freedom of our beloved United States of America. This rose also reminds us of family and friends, our missing comrades, who keep faith while awaiting their return. The red ribbon on the vase represents an unyielding determination for a proper accounting of our comrades who are not among us. A slice of lemon on the plate reminds us of their bitter fate. The salt sprinkled on the plate reminds us of the countless fallen tears of families as they wait. The glass is inverted. It cannot toast with us at this time. The chair is empty. They are not here. The candle is reminiscent of the light of hope which lives in our hearts to illuminate their way home, away from their captors, to the open arms of a grateful nation. The American flag reminds us that many of them may never return, and have paid the supreme sacrifice to ensure our freedom. Let us pray to the Supreme Commander that all of our comrades will soon be back within our ranks. Let us remember, never forget their sacrifice. May God forever watch over them, protect them and their families. I'd like to introduce some of our special guests today. First of all, Councilmember Benny Martinez, please rise, sir. And his lovely wife, of course. Mr. Philip Campos, Councilmember. Mr. Will Bradshaw. Dr. Crystal Caldera. And of course, Mayor Chris Riley. I'm going to introduce Mayor Riley. He's going to present proclamation, and then she is our guest speaker today. She'll be enlightening some of her words. Oh, and I'll also mention too, it's not in her bio that I received. Mayor Riley is also an auxiliary of our American Legion Post.
First, before my comments, let me, Commander Wood, if you'll please come forward. I need to make sure I'm close to the microphone. We have a proclamation that we'd like to present to the American Legion this afternoon. And let me read it and present it to Commander Wood. Proclamation. Whereas Patriot Day is observed on September 11th of each year, designated in memory of the 2,993 persons killed in the September 11th, 2001 attacks. Whereas on September 11, 2001, courageous first responders risked and gave their lives to protect others. Incredible men and women did everything from thwarting hijackers to gathering aid for victims and their families. And countless individuals enlisted in the armed forces to keep our homeland safe. Ultimately, the plot of the terrorists failed. Americans chose to rebuild and not to live in fear. And whereas on Patriots Day we remember all those who were taken from us in an instant and seek their lasting memorial in a safer and more helpful world. And whereas with the passing of time we can now look at September 11th as the demonstration of our nation's strength, heroism, and unity. Now therefore I, Chris Riley, Mayor of the City of Leon Valley, and on behalf of the Leon Valley City Council, do hereby proclaim September 11, 2023 as Patriots Day in the City of Leon Valley, and call upon the people of Leon Valley to participate in community service to honor of those who our nation lost, to observe that this day and with other ceremonies and activities, including remembrance services. signed by my hand, this 10th day of September, 2023 AmeriChris Rally. Thank you, Commander. I'd like to thank Commander Wood for asking me to speak at today's ceremony. It's an honor and a privilege. When we discussed what topics he'd like for me to address, he asked if there was someone from the city who could describe what it was like on September 11, 2001. And then he also asked me to give an update on what's happening in Leon Valley, which is quite a lot. Before I share what our former city manager in 2001 said about September 11th, I wanted to share my deep respect and support for those who served and have served in the military. I am an Air Force brat, as they say. My father, yeah, that's right. My father served over 20 years and retired as a lieutenant colonel in San Antonio. And growing up in a military family was an experience which I'll never forget. I mean, we lived all over the world: California, Alabama, San Antonio, Taiwan, the Philippines, and then back to San Antonio. And my father had the best job ever. He was personal services director for the base in charge of entertainment. And this included hosting Bob Hope and the USO. And it was a great education on how other cultures lived and valued their traditions. 2 of my 6 brothers followed in my father's footsteps, serving in the military as captains. 1 in the Army Infantry serving in Vietnam, and the second brother as a pilot, flying, I always called him KC-135, the gasoline planes in the sky, right? And he continues to fly for American Airlines today. So I have been a member of the Women's Auxiliary since the American Legion first started. And I always remember Walter Garrity in 2008. He set up a table right out there for trade and market days. Do you remember Walter? And he enrolled 1 member at a time, constantly giving me a report. It seemed like every week, at least every month. And as you know, the membership has grown immensely over the years. The city of Leon Valley appreciates the partnership with the American Legion by support of this annual 9/11 Remembrance event. And we also want to thank the American Legion for your quarterly cleanups along Evers Road and for your Flag Day ceremony to retire both flags. So thank you for that. As per Commander Wood's request, I'd like to read a text message I received from Hank Brummett, our city manager, who was working in Leon Valley on 9/11. I am sure we all have a story of where we were when these horrible events took place. And so here is what Hank Brummett sent me just on Friday, I think. And let me read it to you. It's a little bit small. And he says, Mayor, there really is not much to say. I was in my office when Chief Stannard came down and asked me to come to the dispatch office, where we were watching TV on what had happened in our country. We watched in disbelief. I asked him to keep me informed on the events in case there was something that we might have to be prepared for coming our way. The events were passed to the city departments. The aircraft that hit the Pentagon was personal to me, in that the 6 years I spent working there, I had frequent issues with some of the offices in that section of the building. I tried to determine if my friends were injured or dead, but of course with all that was happening, it was impossible to get any information. I am sure that I talked to Mayor Mefford to make sure she knew what was happening. We were like the rest of the country, in a state of deep shock, and the helpless feeling of nothing we could do but be ready to react to anything the situation called for. And he ends with, God bless America. Hank Brummett. So with those words, I'll move into just kind of summarizing what's going on in Leon Valley. And so just kind of a brief state of the city, 2023. The first issue is the Bandera Road redevelopment project out in front of our city hall. A big issue in Leon Valley has been what to do with the traffic along Bandera Road. Well, the city took it on in 2017 when Leon Valley, with the help of UTSA, who initially developed a boulevard concept, we partnered with the City of San Antonio and District 7 San Antonio City Councilwoman Anna Sandoval and TxDOT. And we've been working on this plan for the last 6 years, and now we have a concept called the Parkway concept. The boulevard concept started us thinking outside the box, but it just was too big to fit into our corridor. So the Parkway concept fits, and that concept will add one lane in both directions along Bandura Road from 410 to 1604. Additionally, on both sides of Bandura Road, we have envisioned protected pedestrian and bicycle pathways so that people can use this alternative means to get to a business along Bandura Road without risking their lives. This is a 20-year project. Once we finalize the plan and once we locate the funding, and as a longtime member of the Metropolitan Planning Organization, we have been lining up support from elected officials to get funding, including from Representative Ray Lopez, State Senator Menendez, and Commissioner Justin Rodriguez. Next, we've had some issues with homelessness. We've had increased problems with homeless individuals since 2016, and recently identified 11 homeless encampments in our small city. We have had fires resulting from these encampments in our wooded areas. We passed a very strong ordinance prohibiting homeless persons from camping, lodging, soliciting, or sleeping in any park, public median, street drainage way, or right-of-way, or on any private property without permission from the property owner. But we knew we had to do more to help these people. And so, following that meeting on June the 6th, we had a meeting with the county and nonprofit agencies who work with the homeless and others to try to come up with a plan on what we could do, because they have no place to live. They're unsheltered. So we are in the process where Leon Valley has just been chosen by Bexar County to become the pilot program among the 26 suburban cities to address this issue. The county will hire 2 outreach coordinators through Haven for Hope and has asked the city to contribute towards that cost, which we will address at a future meeting. The statistic is that it takes between 5 and 7 contacts with a homeless person in order for them to develop a relationship and trust with these coordinators. The coordinators will identify them and determine what resources are available, including veterans' benefits. As you know, many of the homeless are veterans suffering from the effects of war. The number one issue with homeless is lack of housing, and the county is committing money towards adding more housing to help the homeless situation. Next is our budget. We have been working on our budget all year, I think, for this coming fiscal year, which starts October 1st, 2024. It runs from October 1st through next September 30th, 2024. And we really had some challenges this year because we needed to keep our salaries and benefits competitive with the rest of the area. But yet, the council really, really wanted to reduce taxes. So, council passed a property tax exemption, and we went from 1% property tax exemption to 20%. And that's the maximum allowed by law. And after going through all of the mathematics, this 20% exemption will reduce the average annual tax bill by $126 annually for the average Leon Valley home valued at $204,000. But we did find that we needed to make additional cuts. The bigger cuts are, we eliminated an MIH person from the fire department. That's a medical integrated health person. We are reducing the library hours from 7 days a week to 5 days a week, closing Sundays and Mondays, which we used to do many, many years ago. We eliminated the jazz festival we had this year, and we are delaying a large number of capital projects until next year. But one of the major areas we are funding this year is the second leg of a hike and bike trail, which is MPO funded, which when completed, our citizens will be able to walk and ride their bikes from Rumpkus Park along Heatner Creek to Crystal Hills Park, which connects to the Howard Peak Greenway all the way to UTSA. So it'll be a really great quality of life issue, and it'll be a safe way for families to get their exercise and enjoy being out in nature. Also in the budget is funding for a staff utilization study. We hired a company to determine if we have the right number of employees in police, fire, and public works. This study will determine how many personnel are needed in order to do the jobs they are tasked with, but also to look at reorganization of departments to see if efficiency can be increased. As you know, personnel cost drives the budget. This study will take approximately 4 months to complete, cost $75,000, and will most likely impact Council's decision in next year's FY25 budget. In general, our revenues are $16 million and our expenditures are $14 million plus capital expenditures. And our main source of revenue are from property taxes and sales tax receipts. Next, we and many, all of communities in the United States received American Rescue Funds because of the COVID pandemic. And the city received approximately $3 million over 2 fiscal years, about $1.5 million in fiscal year 22 and fiscal year 23. We could only use them in 4 areas: COVID retention, water and infrastructure, broadband, and hazardous pay for employees. Council authorized purchase of 2 fire trucks, an ambulance, well generator, sewer line replacement, cardiac monitor, 3 power stretchers, Just FOIA, which is an open records program, hazardous pay for employees, disposable supplies, and $50,000 was designated for citizens to apply for utility reimbursement due to the hardship of COVID. Next issue that we've been taking up for a couple of years is short-term rentals. So the council's been considering regulating short-term rentals over the last several years and is now considering a draft ordinance from the city attorney, which was provided last Tuesday at council meeting. And the mayor and council will take that proposed ordinance and redline out what they don't want in that ordinance to see if we can come up with what we can all agree on. Some of those issues are, should we have a registration fee? Should we have a penalty if you don't register? Should you pay hotel motel tax? Should we regulate the number of cars, the number of people per room? These are the kind of the issues that we're addressing. And then how many short-term rentals should we have in a particular street or area? So it's a challenge, but we're going to do our work, and so I look forward to working with the council on that. Via Metropolitan came up this year too. We had 2 council members, again, doing their due diligence, and I appreciated that. They saw that we were spending $1.6 million a year in sales tax to fund Via Metropolitan, and they wanted to know, are we getting our money's worth? And so we asked Via to come out, and we learned that Via is actually subsidizing our transit service in the amount of $491,000. And if we were to get out of Via, we would need to hold an election. And so we looked at the benefits of Via, especially the service provided by Via Trans, and they outweighed the cost. And we also got input from residents that said, we want Via Trans, don't get rid of it. And so Via also provides an alternative to those who don't have a car. And several cities that I know that have elected to get out of Via have regretted it primarily because of Via Trans. They cannot provide a service for their elderly and disabled. And so we didn't take any action, but we learned a lot. And Via became a sponsor of our 4th of July event to cover the cost of a shuttle service. Speaking of the 4th of July, it was a wonderful success. It was an all-day event, and we had an estimated attendance of 20,100 at the concert that night with the Spasmatics, primarily from people who live in this area. The total cost that was reported last Tuesday was $132,000, but we had revenue from the city and sponsors of $159,000. And I have to mention that the 33rd annual Earthwise Living, because it's near and dear to my heart. We have been at it for 33 years and became the first city to begin curbside recycling back in 1989. And so we wanted to do an annual event. And we have become the oldest environmental fair in Bexar County because of that. And so we had a wonderful event with a lot of attendees, and we are looking forward to next year's 34th event on March the 2nd. And just a plug to the Earthwise, they are holding a tea this afternoon, an afternoon tea at the library at 3 o'clock, and they have a guest speaker who's going to be speaking on trees. And they have, refreshments as well, so I just was going to put a plug in for them. But anyway, there's so much more to report. I can't even begin to tell you. In fact, I was just thinking, all right, no. Just like that, thank you. Okay, great. I was just thinking that our mayor emeritus of many, many years, who served 22 years, she passed, Mayor Baldridge, in May of this year, and I didn't even mention that, but she was a dedicated servant for Leon Valley. But there's so much more to report. I've been writing after each city council meeting. Since 2021, I've been writing a bi-monthly report. Stop. On the following Friday, so on Tuesday when we have the council meeting, by Friday I publish what went on at City Council and any upcoming events. So I've been doing this since 2021, and so I've got a really good record of what we've been doing. And so, but again, it's posted on e-news and on the city's website. So there's just so much that we've done, and I want to thank my council members who are here today and Dr. Caldera for a team effort. And let's continue to work together to make Leon Valley a model for our Metroplex. So thank you again for inviting me. I do appreciate Oh, you want me to right here or in the front? Okay. Right. Thank you.
We were gifted this box and an American flag that one of our members, Mr. Bill, refolded it so it would properly presented. It flew over the House of Representatives on 20 February of 2009, and it was presented to a retiree from the VA on retirement. His wife contacted me a couple of weeks ago that she wanted to give it to the post to do with what we thought should be held. I've already told the mayor I'm going to replace the box. It's actually too big for the flag. And but we're going to go ahead and present the flag to the mayor. Once we get the new box, we're going to have this plaque that we made courtesy of Mr. Bill and Pastor Myers that will go on the back of the box. Everybody get pictures?
I told him before when we met in elementary school, yeah, be careful of children.
Mayor, proclamation obviously presented some information about what happened overnight on September 11th, 2001. I'm going to read something that I pulled off the internet, very short, just to give you an idea of why we're here today, why we continue to come back year after year. On Tuesday, 11 September 2001, suicide attackers seized U.S. passenger jets and crashed them into two New York skyscrapers, killing thousands of people. The attack remains one of the most traumatic events of the century, not only for Americans, but also for the world. In all, 2,977 people, not counting the 19 hijackers, lost their lives, most of them in New York. All 246 passengers and crew aboard the 4 planes were killed. At the Twin Towers, 2,606 people died, then or later of injuries. At the Pentagon, 125 people were killed. The youngest victim was 2-year-old Christine Lee Hansen, who died on one of the planes with her parents, Peter and Sue. The oldest was 82-year-old Robert Moore, who was on another plane with his wife Jennifer, en route to a wedding. When the first plane struck, an estimated 17,400 people were in the towers. Nobody survived above the impact zone in the North Tower, but 18 managed to escape on the floors above the impact zone in the South Tower. Citizens of 77 different countries were among the casualties. New York City lost 441 first responders. The mayor and I will now proceed to the back of the room and bring up 2 wreaths. All rise. Present arms. Sergeant at Arms. Please recover the POWMI flag. Sergeant, please recover the colors.
Color guard, attention, huh? Shoulder, arms. Ready, cut. Forward, march. Left, left, left.
Present arms.
Color guard, hold. Present, forward. Order, forward. Take, pose. Left, face. Assemble, forward. Forward, march.
Two. We'd like each and every one of you to join us for sandwiches, chips, sodas, water. We'll be out here this other hour. And plates, cups. See what the mints, home to eat, please. That's, take them home to eat. Appreciate you taking your time on this Sunday to come out here and be with us. Love to see this place filled up and done. We appreciate everyone. It means a lot to us.
See the prayer.
And we have a schedule. Next thing we have clean up, it's the third morning. Gather at the library, after the morning. Bring tacos, coffee, juices. Free time on hand. Please join us. Saturday, then hopefully we have enough crews. We'll get the two crews. Wander up and down. Section one, two, Hey, both sides. As far as we can see, trash.
What's he saying? I can hear him.
Join us. Every year.
Just to bail it out. It's just a very
Love.
Maybe that looks too far for this place.
Our next general membership meeting, those members we visit in, we meet a couple times a year. Teacher Appreciation Day. Appreciation breakfast and lunch from time to time. And of course, we always use the parking lot for the tree. Again, this year, October. Anytime you're in the area, join us, whether you're a member or not. Just come to our meetings, see what we're doing in the valley is I now declare this meeting of Audie, Alberta, Post 236, Texas, adjourned. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed one thing. Please, undercover, Catherine will offer a benediction.
May the strength of God sustain us, may the power of God preserve us, may the hand of God protect us, may the way of God direct us, may the love of God go with us. Amen.
Amen.
We recover. Actually, I declare the meeting adjourned. We don't need to look at it.